Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. It's so good to join you on Facebook Live this Thursday evening. And we have our very special guest and our celebrity presenter for the Financial Independence Summit, Mr. Darrin Henson. Welcome, Darrin.
Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for taking some time to say hello to everyone in the crypto sphere. So I posted a little bit earlier today how you and I worked on so many projects over the past few years. I did not realize there were as many as there were. So I'm so happy that we're reunited now in the
right.
crypto sphere, both of us doing the crypto thing.
Absolutely.
Now, tell us a little bit, Darrin. I know you won two awards recently. What were those awards?
Wow. Yeah. I won a Best Actor award for the family business, which I play Orlando Duncan on. Right now, I'm in quarantine because we're filming season 4 of the family business. So yes, we are filming another season of the show. But I won an award for Best Actor for the role of Orlando Duncan, and it's an award that kind of infuses America with Africa, and I don't know, it was just a really beautiful acknowledgement, for my work, and it was a beautiful night, and it was one of those things that I think kind of stands out, not only for the work that I've done on the family business, but the long amount of work that I've done over the years. Because to me, that's what it was. It wasn't just about the work that I did on the family business, but it was everything that led up to it. So, it was
special.
Yeah,
Very nice, very nice. Well, congratulations. And the other award, you won the second also, didn't you?
Yeah, but
Okay.
it was interesting because that was a film that I did a couple of years ago, and I thought, that's interesting, because normally when award shows happen, they well, I can tell you, it's for a film that I did called Happiness. But it was a couple of years ago, so I thought it was strange that it was nominated, because normally a nomination is from the year before, right? And so this film I did was like maybe 3 years ago. So I thought it was strange that it was nominated, but I was thankful to win for Best Independent Film as well for the role I did in this film called Happiness. So it's always wonderful to be acknowledged. So I was thankful.
Very nice. Well, congratulations once again.
And that was the Hopper Awards. It's basically an African American award. So it's put together by prestigious group of Africans, but it's done in Hollywood. And so, again, it was something nice to enjoy, and now that's done, it's time to continue the work.
Very good, very good. So you do have quite a long career, both as an award-winning choreographer, as an award-winning actor, both in television and on the big screen. And with such an impressive record in Hollywood and in acting and in music, what now motivated you to educate others about cryptocurrency?
Well, I started with my dad in the precious metals market. A lot of people don't know that, but I've been an entrepreneur for many, many years. And precious metals was something that really interested me. Precious metals, I mean by gold and silver. People always walk past these places or drive past these places that says, "We'll buy your gold." And I thought, that's interesting. We'll buy your gold. So gold must be something that is of great value, more than just being worn. And I knew that Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard in 1972. And when he did that, it just showed that our money wasn't backed by anything, because our money used to be backed by gold and silver. So I became very, very interested. And then my dad educated me on the precious metals market. And then we started a business together. So I think that was the introduction to other things outside of fiat currency. Fiat currency, what people call money. But, you know, when it came to studying wealth, because that's what I did, it went beyond just having money, because, you know, I became a millionaire a long time ago. And I don't mean that, I'm not bragging, I'm not boasting about it, and I'm not trying to impress anybody, but to impress upon them, like I've created a sense of value for myself, you know, in my early 30s, and I worked for it, I earned it. So it wasn't new to me. And then, you know, other members of my family are what I consider to be wealthy. And then they taught us about investments. And so from there, I saw how things were changing. And, you know, in 2008, there was a great crash, and a lot of people lost money. A lot of people took their lives. A lot of people lost their families. And I started thinking that, you know, there has to be more. And when I started to study money, I started to learn that around the world, whoever had paper money, it didn't matter who it was, just about anybody who actually had a fiat currency, paper money, they went through some form of crash. And like Venezuela, well, you know what happened to Venezuela. I mean, those people fled other countries just to live. Well, their money crashed to zero. Zimbabwe, the money crashed to zero. So I started going, wait a minute, seems like this is what's going on in this country, because, you know, it's not that things cost more, it's just that our money is worth less. Right. And so, you know, we heard about this great thing happening in 2009, 2010, and it was Bitcoin. And, you know, I read a little bit about it. It was like, okay, I heard about this, but, you know, my focus was on gold and silver. Right. I did, you know, some very long studies with gold and silver. And, you know, gold was at $900 for years. And then all of a sudden it shot up, you know, to 1,200, then 1,400, then 1,600, 1,700. It went all the way to $1,900. So if you bought a gold coin, a 1 ounce gold coin, for $900, you made $1,000 on each coin. Right. You see what I'm saying? So I was a gold bug. Right. But then this thing got introduced to us called Bitcoin, and it interests me. And, you know, I knew some tech nerds, and, you know, they talked about it. And of course it went away. But around 2015, I became incredibly interested in it. And so, you know, 2016, Coinbase showed up, and you were able to buy cryptocurrencies, and Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin. And we said, you know what? We got money. I'm a gambler. Right. Let's jump into the market. Let's see what we can do with this. And, you know, for about a year, I consistently invested. And then, of course, it went up to 3,000, and then it went to 7,000. And we were like, yo, right? Right. Like, this is nice right now. And then it went to 20,000, and we were just, you know, I went out and bought my Bentley and that, like, you know what I mean? Right. Then it crashed and went down to 3,000, and everybody was like, yo, but then, you know, my partner and I was like, just hold on, like, don't sell. And we had people that we went in with, you know, like my father, he sold all of his. He was like, this is junk. I'm getting out of this. I just lost a bunch of money. I'm like, you didn't really lose a bunch of money. You kind of lost the money that was the profit because you didn't take the profit. Right. But if technology tells us anything, and we're already digital, because when we put our ATM cards, it shows us our amount digitally. I was like, hold on. Right. Like, this is teaching us something. And so I just, you know, kept investing conservatively. And then, you know, there were other people that I dove into because they were involved with crypto and were involved with creation. And I didn't really, once I started studying, I didn't really see it doing what it was going to do. So I kind of bowed out of that gracefully, but I understood that they were futurists, meaning they see the value of crypto, and people were making their own coins and stuff. But the more and more study I did, it just kept leading me back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin, grandfather. Bitcoin is the granddaddy of them all. I don't care, you know, who created it. We know the person to be Satoshi Nakamoto. Do I know what he looks like? No. Do I know if it's a person, it's a group, if it's a woman, if it's an alias? No, I don't care. I know that it's here and it's not going anywhere. So to answer your question, I just kept investing conservatively. And I have been doing so ever since 2016. And it has done very well for me.
Right.
And so, you know, I try to explain to people that, you know, I'm not their guru, I'm not their accountant, I'm not giving them financial advice. I'm only sharing with them what I've done, what my partner did, and how we benefited from it. And I explained to them to really pay attention to society and what's going on in society. And what I mean by that is, if you're old enough, and I think everybody is, because everybody has Nick at Night and Cartoon Network, we've all seen the Jetsons. And so the Jetsons showed George Jetson talking to his wife on his TV.
Right.
You know, we saw Star Trek, you know, Captain Kirk used a flip phone and said, "Beam me up, Scotty." We're way beyond flip phones now. But all of these things were presented to us in the early 70s. And it showed us where we're going. We're driving battery operated cars now. You don't need gas anymore. We saw that as well. You look at Judge Dredd with you know, Sylvester Stallone. They were driving Teslas. You know, when you look at movies, they're driving Teslas. When you look at, you know, so many old, you know, Minority Report, you know, they had touch screens then. So it tells us that we are going to be using digital currency for everything. Everything is going digital. So why would you procrastinate and wait and take more of your hard-earned money to get into crypto when you could actually profit from getting in early? Getting in early adoption affords you the opportunity to profit. You can't, like, look at Google, right? Look at Amazon. When they first came, they were pennies on the dollar.
Right.
And then no one paid attention to it. Very similar to the internet. Nobody paid attention to it. Imagine still using a typewriter when you can press your computer button now, right? Imagine writing letters and sending them to Africa or the UK. How long would it take to get there when you could press a button now and it gets there in a macro second? Well, that to me is what the blockchain technology is all about. That's what Bitcoin is all about. It's all about utilizing technology in the now, your new opportunity window, so it can work for you now and tomorrow. And so when you're able to kind of advance your mind and open yourself up to possibility, you will already see that it's happening around you in a vast way. And it's palpable because every day there's new technologies and new things kind of erupting from present day technologies, right? You got new coins out that are competitive to some of the best coins out there right now. And in the future, those coins that might be a couple of $100 might be $20,000 in about 4 or 5 years. So imagine getting 100 coins today that only cost you a couple of $100, not even. Imagine paying $2,000 for a coin. I mean, $2,000 worth of a coin, right? Because it's only $100. So that means you own 20 coins, but then in 2 or 3 years, that same coin is $20,000,
Right.
right? So you just made $400,000, right? Because you invested 2,000. That's what I tell people to think about. And the chances of that happening are very, 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 very strong.
Right.
And so I come from the mindset, save to invest. And when you invest, what am I investing in? I'm investing in my education. I'm investing in my action, because knowledge coupled with action turns into wisdom. And the older we get, the wiser we should get. And the longer you wait to invest, the more of your hard-earned money is going to take to invest, because the value of the dollar is decreasing daily.
Right. You dropped so many gems in that little segment right now. And I say so many of the same things. We just take that chance, take a little bit, whatever you have. Just get started, just get something. So thank you for that. And I hope everyone's paying attention to what Mr. Henson is sharing with you. Now, we have to ask about NFTs. What's your take on NFTs?
I think NFTs is one of the biggest craze right now. Do I think it's going to last? I think it's going to die down at some point. I think Bitcoin is here to stay, but I think NFTs are the hot thing on the market right now, right? It's kind of like, boxing, right? And then you had UFC fighting, right? So I think it's the present craze that may last for a couple of years, but then after a while, it's kind of like, it'll die down in the market. But, the thing is with Bitcoin, look, 19 million coins have already been mined. Only 21 million will ever be made. That's only 3 more million coins. That's guaranteed to go up. What I tell people is invest, but invest conservatively. Only invest what you feel like you can afford to lose, because could the price drop? Yeah. There's a thing called crypto winter. There's a thing called bear market, right? Don't just focus on the bull, focus on the bears. The law of polarity exists in everything. Everything has an opposite. But, there's a smart way to invest, and there's a smart way to earn. And so it's people learning what that is. Right. And when you can do that, and you can do that consistently, then you'll win out. And, smart people take advantage of the opportunity to use knowledge coupled with action that ultimately becomes wisdom.
And that is exactly why we're having the Grown Women Crypto Financial Independence Summit, because people need to understand. What really motivated me to offer this summit and to continue to offer information is because I see people hearing about a coin, they go to Robinhood or they go to Coinbase, they buy the coin, and they have no idea beyond what they just did, what their options are. So we're going to share with them on Sunday exactly what decentralized finance is, what some of your options are, how you can safely earn, not, taking these risky platforms. And first of all, knowing where to even get your coins.
That's right.
Stay off Robinhood. I didn't say that, right? Stay off Robinhood. So we're so excited that you're going to be there with us. We look forward to the information that you're going to share. And I'm going to be sending you all the information that you need so that we're there and ready to present. We have a nice group of people that have registered that are anxiously awaiting this information. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm excited. And I'm excited to meet and greet all of those people. Again, allow yourselves to be open. And when you can do that, you can afford yourself the opportunity to live in your now, your new opportunity window. And just really show up and show out for yourselves. And what that simply means to me is, don't be in a recreative state, meaning you're in creative mode now. Don't focus on the past, because if you focus on the past, you're going to be recreating. You want to be a creator and be creating for your future. If you focus on your past, you're in recreation. So your recreation will show up in your future. So get tuned in, tapped in, and turned on. We're going to be there Sunday. I'm going to be there. And I'm really excited to meet all the people that you're bringing together, Ansela. And, I love you to life. And I'm so happy that you're doing this. Each one teach one, we can reach one.
Thank you so much, Darrin. Again, we appreciate you taking some time this evening, and we look forward to seeing you on Sunday.
I'll
Take
see you.
care.
God bless.
All righty. Bye-bye.